business, so we will be adjourning to closed session right now, hopefully for about 15 minutes, and then we'll be right back. At this time, the board will go into closed session in accordance with the Texas Opens Meeting Act, Section D of Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. Opens Meeting Act, subsection 551.004, 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, 551.8082, 551.0821, and 551.083 for the purpose stated in the notice of this meeting. Should, in the opinion of the board, final action, vote, or decision on any matter considered in closed session be required, such final action, vote, or decision shall be taken at the opens meeting covered by this notice upon the reconvening of this public meeting or at a subsequent meeting of the board upon notice thereof. The board has adjourned to closed session at 7:06 a.m. on July 27th, 2016. Thank you. Good morning again. The board has now reconvened in open session. The time is 7:43 a.m. Board members present are Ms. Jolanda Jones, Ms. Wanda Adams, Ms. Anna Eastman, Mr. Greg Myers, Ms. Rhonda Skiller-Jones, Ms. Deanna Davila, Mr. Harvin Moore, and Mike Lunsford on video conference, and myself, Manuel Rodriguez. We are now ready to consider items discussed in executive session. Are there any motions?
Yes, Mr. President.
Do I have a second? Oh, your motion, please. It's still early. It's still early.
I move that the board name Richard Carranza as the sole finalist for the position of superintendent of schools and give public notice thereof as required by law.
Second. Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Mike, raise your hand. I can't see it. Can someone see it
Is his
for me?
hand raised?
Mike, are you there? Okay.
Not connected yet.
The vote here is 8-4, 0 against, with 1 absent. So thank you very much. There will be, we will adjourn from the dais and we'll have a little press conference. Jason, where are you? You can lead the way, and we'll make some comments and have a little bit of time for the media. Thank you so much. With no further business to discuss, the special meeting of the Board of Education.
Wait.
I'm sorry.
Hey, may I just ask that somebody text Mike in case he was just out of his... Okay, would you mind? I think we should take this vote with him since he is present. I just think that's a good idea. Can we just take it again?
Can we do that?
Mr. Thompson, we just take it again?
Yes.
Do we have to remake the motion and second again?
I mean, you've got 30, somebody asked for reconsider.
Okay.
We would like to
Add him.
acknowledge
that Mike is here.
Okay.
So do I need to move for reconsideration? I move for reconsideration of the prior items so that all members are available to vote.
And I would like to acknowledge that Mike has now joined us on video conference. Okay. So is there a second to that reconsideration?
A second.
All right. All in favor, please vote. Mike?
Yes, yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much.
You push his?
The vote is unanimous, 9-4 and 0 against.
And now vote on the main motion.
And now vote on the main motion. The main motion, Ms. Jolanda Jones, would you read that again?
Yes, I'll repeat it. I move that the board name Richard Carranza as the sole finalist for the position of superintendent of schools and give public notice thereof as required by law.
Second.
Okay, we have a second and a motion. Motion and a second, I should say. Any discussion? There being none, please vote. Mike, you still with us? There we go. The vote is 9-0. It's unanimous. Thank you very much. With no further business to discuss, this special meeting of the Board of Education is now adjourned at 7:47 a.m., July 27th, 2016. Thank you very much. This is an exciting and historic day for the Houston Independent School District. There is no more important responsibility for the Board of Education than to select a superintendent. We have taken an important step toward doing that this morning. I want to thank my colleagues on the board for conducting a thorough search. We began by promising to welcome community input, and I think we have delivered on this promise. More than 3,200 individuals submitted what they thought was their recommendations, characteristics that they would like to see in our superintendent. These included teachers, principals, parents, community members. You told us that Houston's next school leaders should foster a collaborative, positive, professional climate of mutual trust and respect among all stakeholders. We wanted someone who understands the teaching and learning process. We needed someone to establish a culture of high expectations for all students, staff. This position generated a great number of applications from Texas and throughout the nation. These people understand that HISD is a strong district that has twice been named the top urban school district in America. These candidates also saw that Houston is a city that believes in public education and supports its schools. Our Board of Education agrees that Richard Carranza stood out in this field of strong candidates. He fits Houston. Mr. Carranza is the right leader at the right time for Houston's children. Mr. Carranza has led a diverse and urban San Francisco Unified School District since 2012. He has also served in leadership positions in Las Vegas and Tucson. He understands the challenges facing Houston students, and he has a track record of success in urban school districts. In San Francisco, Mr. Carranza has championed many equity issues, strategies for driving students' academic achievement that have also been embraced in Houston. He is fluent in Spanish and English, and he values high education along with bilingual education and fine arts, something that Houston also values. Under Mr. Carranza's leadership, San Francisco UISD has worked to reduce student disciplinary suspensions while emphasizing practice that help students remain in their classrooms. Houston is also doing the same. This selection process is not over. Texas law requires that the board wait 21 days before formalizing the hiring of Mr. Carranza. This will give time to the community to learn more about Mr. Carranza. Again, I want to thank my colleagues and all the members of Team HISD for their hard work during this transition. We face challenges. Texas' outdated finance school system is taking $162 million from our classrooms. We are working hard to deliver the new schools we promised voters in 2012. Student academic achievement is not meeting the high standards we have set for ourselves, but Houston is a city that pulls together, and we remain confident in our future. Thank you very much. And now, if you'd like to, any of my colleagues would like to have any comments? Ms. Wanda, step to my right, please.
You can stand right here with me.
I'm standing right here. I
Okay.
can't go too far.
First of all, I would like to say good morning to each and every one of you. But before we can continue as a team, we would like collectively to thank our interim superintendent, Mr. Ken Hewitt. For carrying the baton and going through the tough challenges that was ahead of us and coming together and bringing us together as a team to make sure we pass at what we considered a best budget that we could at this opportunity during this political climate. This week and last week, many of us has been seeing many of the Republican conventions and the Democratic convention where everyone has been excited about their particular positions. But I can say as a board, we're excited about the position that we're in today. Knowing that picking a superintendent is one of the most important things that we can do as a board. And as the vice president of this board, I can say that we have come together as a team. We have agreed to disagree on issues, but at the end, we were able to cross the finish line. Crossing the finish line with our leader, the current president, Mr. Manny Rodriguez.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, opportunity for
done.
anybody else? Oh,
Not
sorry.
So one of the things that I just want to say, because I have to always give credit where credit is due. You don't take it like it's an I, and I don't think that's one thing that we've done. Because one of the things that our first vice president said, Dinah Davila, she said, when we come together, we have to all respect each other's opinions, respect what we say, how we say it, but the most important thing that I can take from the line of Rhonda Skillings-Jones is, it's all about the kids. So long as we make decisions all about the kids, we would do the best thing. Mr. Carranza, all about the kids. One of the things that stood out, because he talks about one of the passions that one of our board members is not here today, Mr. Mike Lunsford, is like, how do we build community schools? How do we build the collaboration among nonprofit organizations, among leaders, especially in a budget as tight as ours? How can we get nonprofit organizations to come into the school at no cost to us to be able to provide the services that our kids need? That is what we're striving for. We're striving for the opportunity of wraparound, and this particular candidate, we believe, will be able to lead us across the finish line. So again, on behalf of the Board of Education, and I stand with our president and our team, HISD, and we're the team, to come together and salute Mr. Carranza. And I'm sure that when he arrives and lands in hot Houston, that he'll be able to, we'll welcome him with open arms. And I don't think he understands that yet, but I think he'll get it when he lands here, hopefully after 21 days. So again, thank the media, thank Team HISD for coming together. Thank you all for supporting us and standing with us as we set the president right and let the process work. Thank you.
Manny, you want to say something?
Sure.
So, thank you for being here. Good morning. I'm tired. I didn't get in until 4:30 this morning, but I'm here because I thought it was important that we be here. Mr. Carranza understands that equity matters. If you read my school board trustee cards, it says hashtag equity matters, because it does, because equality is not always equity. That was huge for me. Mr. Carranza also, I mean, let's face it, HISD is overwhelmingly Hispanic. Sometimes I think that we are not fully educating our native speakers where they're literate in Spanish and English, and Mr. Carranza understands the distinction of how we can do that. That's important. Mr. Carranza is accustomed to dealing with kids from all backgrounds, and he appreciates the uniqueness of those kids, and I think that's important because we have unique kids. And I thought it was astounding that in January we voted to do away with suspending and expelling kids who were really young. He gets that. So we were a part of the same village. Perhaps before this search we didn't know that we were a part of that village, but we are. And what I also believe is really important is kids need extracurricular activities. They need after-school programs, because that's when they get in trouble, if they're going to get in trouble. Mr. Carranza understands that. And what I really love about him is he does mariachi, which I just got back from Mexico. And believe it or not, his ability to think outside the box with mariachi, and who would think that, has taught kids to be more literate. It's kept kids with a reason to come to school. So we need someone who's going to do that. And I can promise you this was not easy for us. We duked it out because we all are fighting for the kids, and we all believe we come from, you know, the right place. But I think it speaks volume, considering how some of the media talked about how we were divided along racial lines. Isn't it a beautiful thing that we all came together on this? I'm just sort of saying.
Okay, anybody else?
I'll say it.
Okay.
I think we should also thank our community for their patience, because these searches are never quick. They take a long time. This one certainly took about as long as a search should take. Even had a couple of false starts at the beginning. But I will tell you that once it got going, and once we began interviewing the candidates, and believe me, everyone in the nation knew about this position. And of course, we took our time as a board in building the profile and listening to the community about what was valued here, and all of the sort of personal characteristics and professional characteristics and experience that were important. Once we began interviewing people, that's when the process began to feel right. This is the third superintendent search that I've done since joining the board about 13 years ago, and it was a good one. And then I just want to say that it has been good getting to know Richard Carranza. I've met him before because he's been around. So this is a person that has been a superintendent in a major district, not in a huge district, but San Francisco is one of those districts that is in the big leagues, even though it is a smaller district. Washington is a district like that. New Orleans is a district like that. These are districts that are in cities where controversial issues are addressed. They are cities with real media that ask hard questions, like Houston. They are places where there are other politicians with great ambition who tend to, let's say, cross over into other politicians' work. So those are characteristics of San Francisco that make it a tough place to operate, and it puts it in the big leagues. And Richard has been operating in the big leagues. He's a known quantity, and that was of some comfort to us. And finally, as has been said before, and as you'll, I think, see the first time that you meet Richard Carranza, is that he is a very personable person. So he's passionate. He has a great deal of knowledge, deep understanding of curriculum and education issues, but he is also personal. He takes the time to listen and to try to understand your point of view, whoever you are. And we also believe, and we've seen from his record, that at the end of the day, he is able to make a decision, because you can't just listen to everybody else's point of view and make them feel heard and then do what everybody else wants, because you would end up doing nothing. So he does take a stand finally, and that's what we're looking forward to doing. We have a board of 9 people from different districts in different areas of the town, and so it's going to be important to have a superintendent who knows how to lead and to help the board come up with a solution that has support but yet does move the ball forward with the kids. And then finally, I won't answer any questions on whether or not Richard Carranza sang mariachi to us at any time during the interview process. But I will tell you that he is he's got quite a voice, and his history and his passion for mariachi is important, and I think gives you an idea of the fact that we need a multidimensional person. I think that in education, if you can have someone that understands and truly appreciates the arts, in addition to all the other things that have to be done, then I think that's going to be a positive for the kids. So we're very glad to be we're looking forward to seeing Richard and welcoming him to Team HISD and introducing him to our community.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I have to say it in Spanish. Good morning. Buenos días. Le quiero dar gracias a la comunidad por participar en este proceso, en buscar el siguiente líder de HISD. Le quiero dar, el presidente Manuel Rodríguez ya dijo, las gracias a la mesa directiva de HISD por este proceso, porque no ha sido un proceso fácil. Nunca son fáciles. Pero la mesa directiva ha hecho la selección de Richard Carranza para el finalista para ser superintendente de este distrito escolar y pronto la comunidad lo tendrá aquí en Houston para que lo pueda conocer. Otra vez, gracias por su paciencia y esperemos pronto a Richard Carranza que llegue a HISD.
One more, Mr. Greg Myers.
For fear of being repetitive, I just want to say that this is a new chapter in HISD. And like Mr. Moore, this is my third time. Is my time up already?
No.
So, this is my third time as well. And I will say, each of the superintendents that I've had the honor of working with bring a unique skill set. And one of the things that I want to say about Richard is that he's going to bring a tremendous amount of vitality, amount of energy, I think, that this district has not seen before. And like we've all said, some of the common threads, it's about kids. And it's about learning and teaching and learning. And that's what I think has really vaulted Richard Carranza as to the top of this pack. And I also want to make a comment of what I think is very pivotal. I appreciate Zeph Capo for his comments, because I think that's going to set the tone. The comments in the paper today that's saying we're going to give this guy a chance. And I think Houston, when you give Richard Carranza a chance, you're going to be tremendously pleased. Like I said, he's going to bring some tremendous energy. He puts kids first, and I think that is a tone that we all want to set in working together to make sure that our kids move forward. We have a lot of work to do. We also mentioned that word challenges. So we have a multifaceted amount of challenges that is occurring in this district, both from a financial side and both from a teaching and learning side. And I'm excited to roll up our sleeves together as a group of 10 to really attack the issues that are plaguing our students here in Houston. So thank you.
So I've just been notified that my two other colleagues would like to say a quick word.
Good morning. I just want to say that 9-0 votes are rare around here, which should tell you something about the quality of the candidate that we think we have. I can say, from my perspective, I want to thank my colleagues for putting the self aside. Not one part of this interview was about us. It was all about our kids. And all of our questions, all of our interviews were solely focused on our 215,000 children. So I want the community to rest assured that this decision was made with our kids foremost in front of that decision. And that, I think, is the most equitable and the most common sense and the most reasonable and really the most respectful and intelligent way to make that decision, is to base it on what is the best thing that we think we can do for our children. And in our opinion, it was Mr. Carranza. So having said that, we're excited to bring him here eventually to meet all of you in the community. I'm guessing he's preparing for this kind of thing because I know it's coming. But thank you for your patience and thank you for your input in allowing us to guide this search and leaving that decision for our children in our hands. Thank you.
Ms. Eastman.
And I will just close by saying I'm really looking forward to welcoming Mr. Carranza to Houston, to getting to know him up close and seeing how all of the things we got to see in the short time we spent with him are going to impact our kids and our district. The fact that he's an artist is, I think, offers a dimension that we haven't seen in a leader here in Houston, and someone who performs and shares that with people. But even more importantly, he shared with us some stories that I think we'll all get to know over time, how San Francisco set everything aside to get some of their kids who didn't have a hope of finishing school to the highest levels of achievement to complete and graduate. Not just get diplomas in their hands so they can get off the district's rolls, but rather do everything they could to prepare kids who at that point didn't look like they had a future to get a diploma and actually be able to be the agents of their future as a result of the work done by people in the district. And I think several of my colleagues have mentioned it, people outside that they brought in to wrap around those kids and hold them up and get them across one of the first big finish lines that we get our kids across here in Houston too. So thank you everyone for being here, and we all look forward to introducing this person and getting to know him better together.